Okay. Okay, we're live. My name's Andrew, as most of you know, and I have a newfound friend online with me today, Faisal Ali. He's been involved with the judge, and then I guess realised that, like many of us, that the judge might not be who he said he was. So welcome, Faisal. It's lovely to have you here, mate.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Faisal, maybe, look, I, as I mentioned in the conversation just prior, I guess some people have accused me of not having the evidence, and obviously the evidence is there, but I'm sort of not a detailed person, to be honest with you. But let's start off with your story. How did you get involved with the judge?
Oh, the judge called me one day back in July 2017, and he asked for my help, which I thought was kind of strange, coming from a guy who says he has a staff of 200, right, or whatever he says he has. Why would he need help from me? But at the same time, I thought, okay, fine, if he needs my help, he wants to help so many people, so how can I say no?
Sure. And
Yeah.
were you a sort of a believer in the program? Were you a paid up member?
Yeah, I think at that point in time, I had like one paid. Like I got in it near the beginning. It was like 250 position. So
yeah,
I had one at that point in time.
Yeah. So at one point, then obviously you were a believer, like I was, and like many others were. So that's why you got involved in the first place.
Oh yeah, of course. Like the theory is all there, and everything is possible to do, but you have to have the connections, and you have to have the relationships with these banks and so on and so forth, which he obviously does not have.
Yes. I've actually got a friend who's very sort of knowledgeable, if you like, with private placement programs, and he was saying that he looked at this and he said, well, if you can pull it off, it's pretty amazing. But generally speaking, you need to have that relationship, and along with that, you need to have $100 million before they'll even talk to you.
Oh yeah, and I mean, and if you do have the relationship, some facilitators can piggyback you onto a program, but like I said, you have to have that relationship, right?
Yeah, for sure. So when did you sort of realize that this guy wasn't the real deal?
I guess it would have been a couple of months later. I was, starting having my doubts when, as they say, they wanted to arrest and try the CEO of HSBC. First of all, you need a police force. Second of all, you need a courthouse.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do? Keep him in his basement and, try him in the living room?
Yeah, exactly. So was that the turning point for you?
Well, that's when I started having my doubts. But, back up to our July conversation, when I did say or agree to help him, I gave him a timeline. I said, I'll help you till April. And if payout doesn't materialize by April 2018, then I'm done. Like, I'm not going to take any excuses. I'm not going to stick around. And I said, it has to be payout for everybody, not just for me, for every single participant. And, has to start rolling out. And he assured me that it would be done.
Yeah, exactly. So what are your thoughts on the China thing at the moment? How he reckons that payouts began in China? Say no more.
It's laughable, right? It's laughable.
The whole thing's absolutely laughable. Yeah. So, look, Faisal, if you can, I know you're on your Android, but maybe you can share some of the documentation and maybe explain to those people that are watching what your thoughts are.
Sure.
Unless there's anything else you want to say beforehand.
Well, I mean, I guess what he was, he was trying to, the part of falsifying those documents and so on and so forth. They were trying at that time. They had another supposed PPP going that and they were taking up to $25,000 per share, and it was supposed to be a 90-day PPP, and it was a 5-to-1 payout.
I remember that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and he's had so many of these little programs come up here and there, but nothing ever materializes, and it seems like nobody ever seems to remember.
Yeah.
Let's
before we go on and share the documents, I mean, what are your thoughts on? He claims that he's got, I think, 200 lawyers working for him. Is that right?
Well, that's what he said from the very beginning, right? But if you look at one of his latest updates, he says he's only got 81 graduates from since 1991, right? So
and who are those graduates? I mean, I received a cease and desist, as you know, and Peter Tan and Associates, and that was a fake law firm, and I've heard nothing since, and I obviously don't expect to. I mean, like I said in one of my videos, I mean, this would be defamatory if it was not true. If what I was saying wasn't true, it would be defamatory.
100%, yes.
Yeah, and so
our core group of people that are posting on SAT aren't liars. They're telling the truth. They're honest, good people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're a wonderful group of people, and it just, for me personally, it just absolutely saddens me that anybody is still giving the guy any more money. I question whether he's actually getting much, but nevertheless, he has got a group of followers, and I even question how many he really does, because there's so many aliases when it comes to this fake judge.
Yes, and the way, the way people write their messages and write-ups and so on and so forth. It's his writing style, his vocabulary, you might as well just put down, fake judge on the bottom of it, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And instead of making up these made-up names.
Yeah. So how long do you think he's been going at this for?
Well, he said he told me that he was involved with the Indian movement way back from, what was his name again? I think Russell Means, like way back from like the late 70s, right? So, he's a great storyteller. It's possible, it's possible, but maybe he's just telling a story, right?
Yeah.
He also told me he represented Wesley Snipes on his tax issues that he had, right? But we saw how that worked out for Wesley Snipes.
Not very good.
Yeah. I guess that's nothing really to brag about.
Yeah, exactly. And so what would you say to those people that are either sitting on the fence or still believers in this fake judge?
Well, I mean, just stay on the fence. Stay on the fence. Let him prove one thing that he says, right? Just let him prove one thing that he says.
Just one thing, yeah.
Yeah, just let him prove one, and like for myself personally, even if he was to pay anybody out, I would still not get involved with him.
That's sort of the way I'm feeling right now. It's sort of dirty money, isn't it?
100%. 100%. Yeah.
But what I say to people is even just stay on the fence, but stay far away from the fence, because.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Psychologically, it can absolutely sort of play with one's mind. I mean, look, I've got to be honest. I was sitting on the fence for a while. I thought, no, this isn't right. There's something wrong here, But I still sat on the fence for a period of time thinking, because I thought just maybe there was a chance of something happening. And of course, one day when I did my first video, I just was so sort of want of a better word, pissed off and angry that I sort of grabbed the little tripod, stuck it on the kitchen bench, and had my rant. And of course that's how I met you guys. But yeah, maybe we could go through the HSBC thing, because I think this is quite damning. You know, I think anybody that threatens to the CEO of the HSBC bank is pretty serious stuff. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, of course it is. Yes. Yeah.
So if you don't mind, maybe Faisal, you could share your screen and we can just go through some of those documents, and maybe you can explain.
Sure. Yep.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Yep. I'm just trying to look for the initial.
All right. Okay.
The initial forward. Sorry, I should have been prepared, but
that's okay.
The initial forged document from you know, and I have a very good one with the you know, blue ink signatures from himself and his fake king friend.
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
Yeah.
Friend.
Well, I mean, it's interesting how his friend is, you know, ethnically he's Chinese, and he's the king of the Malay people in Borneo. You know, like I don't know in whose world that makes any sense.
No, I don't make sense of that either. Yeah. Probably golfing buddies, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Okay. So maybe, if you could just explain these documents, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting to see on here that, you know, it says the amount is a $1 quadrillion US, and you know, I mean that would mean that they have more money than the Rothschilds, right?
Yeah.
And it says instrument cash fund. You know, and like, so they put in $1 quadrillion and they're getting $1 quadrillion back. Like, where does this PPP make any sense, right? Exactly. And you know, it says documents handed to fake Judge Naidu on September 4th for appropriate action. It says, right?
In this instance, yeah.
Yeah. So then the fake judge signed on the top there, and oh, look at that. Louis Neo, one of the 3 Neos, was the witness on that. I just noticed
Neo.
that.
Right.
Yeah, Neo. Oh.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, when he visited Australia, he had a fake bank statement as well. I think there was trillions in that as well. But anyway, that was proven to be a fake.
Yeah.
Where does he get off? That's what I sort of don't understand where this guy gets off. I think it's just some sort of game. Obviously, he's making money, but it's some sort of game for sure.
Oh, yeah, you know, like, I'm sure at some points in times he's probably just laughing at everybody, right?
Yeah. So, have you got anything else to show us today?
Oh yeah. Let me. Well, here's another interesting document. So he was trying to get advice or hire the the Nation of Islam to do their tribal judgment collections. So this is back in July 6th of 2017, or yes. Yeah. So I mean,
honorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and of course, a lot of those logos aren't his either, are they? To use?
Oh no, I mean, some of these tribes don't even associate with him or want anything to do with him, right? And you know, I contacted a tribe on his behalf, and as soon as they heard he was involved, they wanted nothing to do with him, right?
Yeah, I think that yeah, it goes for a lot of the Maoris too in New Zealand, and I know I've spoken to a Aboriginal elder here, and he wants nothing, absolutely nothing to do with him whatsoever. So he reckoned that he met him and picked up on his nonsense, almost right away. So these people aren't stupid. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah, and you know, a lot of the things with these people, is based on respect, and he clearly has no respect for anybody.
No, he has no
It,
empathy
you
whatsoever.
know, he even has no self-respect, because otherwise he wouldn't be doing what he's doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was actually speaking to a psychologist this morning, and she was talking about sociopaths, and he certainly fell right into that category with no empathy. He doesn't care about people whatsoever, and I think that's one of the reasons that people find it hard to believe that he is a fake. That somebody can be so cruel. People find it hard to believe that people can.
Oh, yeah, because like your average people aren't like this. Like if you're in trouble on the road somewhere, a lot of people will stop and help you, right? But people just aren't like this.
No, exactly. So what's this document about? I've seen this before, but maybe you can explain, mate.
Well, he was claiming that he had a group ready to go and to do the collection on their behalf, right? So
This is from the bank, is it?
yeah, yes, exactly, yes.
No
And the interesting thing was, he because he said he had that other PPP going. He, there was a gentleman here that wanted to do a larger investment, and he's dealt with things like this before, and he wanted to put his money into an escrow account to do a larger PPP, and he's insisting, no, you have to put the money into my name, into my account, right? And I mean that's like security fraud, right? It's
yeah, exactly. And then of course you've got all these different bank accounts that he sort of uses from all around the world by the sounds of it. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. Yeah. So maybe do you have any other documentation you'd like to share, or?
Well, I have the email that he sent me, but I mean, I posted that onto that was posted onto the SAT page. Yeah.
And maybe you'd like to. He sort of accused you of certain things too when he realised that you weren't involved. Maybe you'd like to talk about that briefly.
Well, I mean, I'm. He just likes to play on people's fears, right? I'm a happily married father of 9 beautiful kids.
9. Wow.
9, yeah.
Well done.
5, yeah. So,
yeah.
I have lots of I barely have any free time. My time spent well with my family, right? So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey man, look, I really, I thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I mean, for me, I can't let this rule my life. I don't
yes, I agree. Like for me, whatever happens to him, it happens to him. Like like you said, I totally agree with what you said in your last video. Like if we can stop one person from sending him, like mission accomplished for us, right? Like.
For sure.
And it, like if, and at the same token, if we get people to leave his group, mission accomplished, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I guess I posted that on the SAT page as well. But he part of the payout plan was to raid the Federal Reserve. Like I don't know what planet this guy's living in. Like
raid the Federal
Reserve.
With his police force. So, I mean, what did it for me what really made me sit up and think when he was talking about getting this police force together, it just made no sense whatsoever. I mean, do you think that the authorities are going to allow a group of individuals, put on this sort of fake uniform and pretend to be police? I don't think so. It's just, and of course there was no. You're saying we've got to have a police force, but there was no support, or there was no talk about training or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just
there was zero structure. And an amazing thing was he wanted a volunteer police force, right? He wants everybody else to volunteer, but he needs $65 from each participant to run his operation. Why doesn't he volunteer?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And if he's got all the money there, why doesn't he help fund it? I mean, he should. We don't know, but in your estimate, how much money has he taken off people? It has to be millions and millions, would it not?
Oh, it's for sure. It's yeah, no problem. We all have lives, though. It's all good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, up to 5,000 certificates,
Mm-hmm.
I'll use my favorite nickname for him, dumbass woodliar. He was collecting the admin fees up to 5,000 certificates. Now that's $250,000 just in admin fees.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
you know what I mean, and that would have been it's 5,000. Yeah, so that
a lot. Yeah,
that'd be like $10 million, wouldn't it?
Well, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's done very, very well out of all of this. But I tell you what, he's got bigger testicles than me. I can tell you that he's got some. Got some balls to continue on with this for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, with the MCLB program, he said initially they it was 1.5 or 2 million they put into to roll over in the PPP.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first debt program before this debt program, he collected 1.5 million on that program.
Yeah.
So we're up to $2 or $3 million right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I know people that have sent like $20,000 to him, or for his judgments and so on and so forth. And
yeah, well, I know people have just about lost their homes and they have lost their homes, and they've lost their wives and family. I believe one person's committed suicide. I know I brought in around about 25 people, and I know that 2 of those people put in over $10,000. Trusts, these, and never got any paperwork for it, And when questioned about it, of course, the judge just gets angry and sort of tells them to piss off, if you know what I mean.
And then he gets, he starts telling everybody, "Oh, this person's a liar. I did all the work for them." Even if you look at the website, they say that they've been successful collecting on their tribal judgments. Show one success story. Just show one. Just
one.
Show one.
Proof of one. Yeah.
And then that he gets part of his $65 program is that he'll give you the a $30 million tribal judgment. Who's made him the supreme being over the whole world, where he gets to write up all these judgments, and everyone's got to shaking their boots and pay up or something, you know,
Well,
like,
it's himself, isn't it? You know, I
yeah,
don't believe
yeah.
he's got any staff whatsoever. I don't believe he's got any officers. I believe maybe his family might be involved or supporting him, but you know, if he responds to everybody's sort of questions by just telling them to sort of go away and leave me alone, or go away, you're an idiot or whatever. I mean, he doesn't really need any staff, does he? It's pretty.
No, yeah, of course, yeah. You know, like his famous line about his Mandarin friend, right? He threw his hands up in the air and just walked away, right?
Hey, Faisal, look, I really appreciate you. Exactly, mate. I really appreciate you coming on today. I don't sort of want this video to go on too long because I know people.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
But hey, man, just
and thank you for all the wonderful work that you've done. You know, you know, I was kind of, you know, just, you know, on the last thing for me, like I was sitting on the, like, you know, on the sidelines about, you know, about getting involved to help stop him, and then you inspired me, my friend.
I'm a relative. It was like was an impromptu video, and I just was sort of really angry on the day, and I did it. And I admire you guys, and Lisa is, you know, to be sort of going this alone for so long. It would have been
real for sure
place for you guys for a long time. So I'm a relative newcomer. I've sort of woken up fairly late in the piece. And just wanted to sort of share my story, and that's how it's all started. But you're right, we're amongst a fantastic group of people that are opposing the judge, and it's just awesome. It's so in some ways I thank the judge for that. You know.
Yeah, of course, yes.
I've got this new fantastic group of friends that I know that no matter what, my back's always watched. It's fantastic. So in closing, mate, what would you say? What would your message be for, let's say, those people that are still involved? Look, I question, with due respect, I do question. I question why they're still involved. I don't want to sort of, you know, say they're silly or stupid, but I do question that. But so, what would you say to those people, and what would your message be to the judge?
Well, the fun's going to end one day, right? For him. Hopefully it's very soon. You know, I do believe that his, you know, his finances have really stopped flowing in, because he's no longer trying to peddle positions. He's begging for $65, and now he's trying to do his tribal lawyer things, because, you know, if he gets one or two people to bite on that, he'll be laughing. But don't be foolish. Don't send him any money. Spend it on your family. There's better things to spend your money on, right?
Yeah, for sure. I just hope it catches up with him before old age does. And so, you don't have to say, but do you have any messages directly for the judge?
Oh, yeah. You promised that you're going to come arrest and try me. Please show up at my doorstep, please.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, Faisal, thanks heaps, mate. I really appreciate it. It's great to sort of semi-meet you in person, and once again, I thank you for all your support and all the efforts that you're making. So we'll talk to you soon. Yeah,
take care. Thanks for everything. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye.